Deavere Smith is well known for her acting in films and TV, including on The West Wing and Nurse Jackie. She's also made an impact as a playwright, creating her own style of theatrical dramas that explore aspects of American life. Now she's doing something new, looking back at her own family history. Senior arts correspondent Jeffrey Brown met with Smith recently in Philadelphia for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Still. You must sit perfectly still.
A photograph for the 1843 wedding of Basil and Mary Biggs, real-life figures who lived in Maryland and later Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
I'm getting married to a wonderful girl. That makes me smile.
Now imagined for the theater by their great-great-granddaughter, Deavere Smith.
Because this is the one about my family.
A renowned playwright and actor of our time.
Of all the stories that we uncovered, we saved the most remarkable one for last.
Who learned of the extraordinary life of Basil Biggs, including his work on the Underground Railroad, on an episode of Finding Your Roots, the PBS program hosted by Henry Louis Gates, Jr.
While slavery existed, he was an active agent in the Underground Railroad, helping fugitives to freedom. Oh, this is amazing. This man was amazing. I knew this from the minute that Henry Louis Gates told me the story and showed me the picture. I knew that this was an important piece of the puzzle I needed to understand my stake in the country.
Your own stake.
My own stake in the country.
So these are some of the kinds of things
Making sense of her country has been Smith's long-running project.
that qualify slavery as the most outrageous crime.
But typically through the words and voices of others, as she's helped pioneer a style of documentary theater that has explored traumas and social issues in American life, in works such as 1992's Fires in the Mirror.
And people would say to me, gee, I like your new haircut. And I'd have to say, it's not mine.
Now, when I first heard about this case,
And Twilight Los Angeles the next year, both focused on riots in major American cities, for which she interviewed real protagonists and then portrayed them, taking on a wide variety of personas in a one-woman show.
And if I had to choose between arguing with people by my hairstyle or giving James Brown that one tribute he asked.
the work that I got known for was work about looking at moments of disarray. And when you look at those kind of issues, number one, nobody agrees, and I love that. That's dramatic. Nobody agrees. And two, there's no one answer. So this work was about trying to make sense by putting the pieces together.
In 2015, we watched her in action as she researched and talked to residents of her hometown of Baltimore for a show titled Notes from the Field.
You put leg shackles on a man that can barely walk?
About how students of color from poor communities are often funneled into the criminal justice system, known as the school-to-prison pipeline.
I made a decision to go on the road, as I call it, to search for American character. And so that was going to, in particular, cause me to, well, chase that which I'm not.
But why? Tell me why. What has been the goal in that?
The goal was to come close to strangers quickly in order to try to touch the American spirit. I felt I had to go outside of my, metaphoric home, outside of what I knew to understand a country so vast as ours.
In her new play, Basil Biggs, she's done something different. We recently joined Smith for a workshop production at Philadelphia's Wilma Theater, a work in progress put on as part of a citywide arts festival called What Now? For Smith, What Now involves looking hard at what then. For the mixed-race son of a slave owner and enslaved woman, now living as a freeman with his family and working as a veterinarian.
You rock that baby like you another day old.
I swear it can make sense.
I'm trying to figure out who he was because he didn't read or write. So given the fact that what I've trained myself to do is to study words and language to find identity, here I have no words.
What she did have, photographs of Basil Biggs and his family, archives describing life in Gettysburg at the time, and a record of another astounding aspect of Biggs' life revealed on Finding Your Roots and also portrayed in the play. After the Battle of Gettysburg, he disinterred the Union dead for reburial in a new cemetery ahead of Abraham Lincoln's famous address delivered on November 19, 1863. Most important, Smith says, she was able to visit the actual farm and homes where Biggs and his family lived.
So this gave me a sense of place, and it turned out that the sense of place was as grounding as words had been before.
Really?
Yeah.
So place meaning what you see, what you smell, the wind in your...
My sense of belonging in it, in belonging in the story myself, that the fact that myself belonged, and I haven't thought about this till talking to you, but that myself belonged in this story, that I could believe myself in this story because I was in the house and in the barn and on the creek, helped me begin to imagine this man, Basil Biggs.
What did it teach you about yourself, or what did it made you think about yourself today, as an American today?
I know why I care. I know, and I can't give you the words for it, but in a kind of intuitive way, I know why I care about America. Because, for one thing, my great-great-grandfather cared enough about America that he wanted these soldiers to have a decent burial.
The play takes its characters and us up to 1872. The Civil War is over, but the struggles continue.
I hate some Freeman's girl and you the boards of blue.
Including the new presence of the Ku Klux Klan.
The audience is left with a rebel yell, and I hope they are therefore going to think about the work we have to do now before we can sing the songs about everything's going to be all right, because we all know it's not all right.
It's an ambiguous ending for Anna Deavere Smith's great-great-grandfather and for the country down to today. For the PBS News Hour, I'm Jeffrey Brown at the Wilma Theater in Philadelphia.